Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or should I say good afternoon. Welcome inside. All right. I don't like that anyway. Like that intro anyway. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the Steinke Physical Education Center, the home of the Texas A&M-Kingsville Javelinas, where this afternoon the Javelina Sports Network presents Texas A&M-Kingsville Javelinas basketball, the second doubleheader in 3 days for the Hogs. And today, Wade Scott's women and Johnny Estelle's men are set to take on the Eastern New Mexico Greyhounds. My name is Mark and Sarah. Thank you for tuning in on this Saturday afternoon. Happy to bring you some basketball before you tune in for some football later tonight. Mention the Hogs entertaining a pair of Eastern New Mexico squads that come in with winning records in the Lone Star Conference. And both of these Javelina teams coming off of huge victories. A monumental Thursday evening for both of these squads, to say the least. The women scoring an upset over the undefeated and second-ranked West Texas Buffs before the men upset the WT men's squad. The women picking up arguably the biggest win of the Wade Scott era, toppling a West Texas team that had been undefeated prior to Thursday's game and was riding a 12-game winning streak. Scott's team earned an 86-84 victory. That literally, not to sound cliche, but came down to the final few seconds of that game. 5 Javelinas scored in double figures to help lead the team to a win, led by Chloe Lane. She had 23. That was a season high for her. Brianna Solis put up her first career double-double with 13 points and 15 rebounds. A huge night for the redshirt freshman. And Brene Thompson was in the 20-point range for the second consecutive game. She had 20 points even, and her average is up to 15.1 points per game. That puts her 4th in the Lone Star Conference. This is a Javelina team last year that spent the season really searching for a consistent source of scoring. Angelica Wilson was their most consistent scorer, but Thompson has become a bona fide shooter for this team. Now in the top 5 in the conference in scoring. Dubuque was fantastic in that win on Thursday, especially shooting-wise. They were 12 of 22 from beyond the arc. They hit 28 of 34 attempts from the free throw line. Both of those things key factors in that victory. Also, Dubuque held the Greyhounds, or I should say the Buffs, to just 5 of 24 on three-point shots the other day. That win was the second in a row for the Javelinas. It puts them at 5-7 on the season. They're now 2-3 in the Lone Star Conference, and they have an opportunity with a victory today to get to 500 in the LSC. The first time they'll have reached that mark since the end of the 2016-17 season, which they finished at an even 14-14 in LSC play. This would also be their first 3-game win streak since November of last year. But first things first, the Javelinas have to go through a very tough Eastern New Mexico squad. The Greyhounds, coached by Josh Prock in his 6th season, come into this game at 9-4. They're 4-1 in the LSC. They're coming off their first conference setback of the year. Angelo State, the top team in the LSC, handed them a 79-52 setback on Thursday. That dropped them down to 3rd in the LSC. They're behind Angelo State, as I mentioned, ASU 5-0. They're 10-1 overall. West Texas in 2nd place in the conference at 4-1. They are 12-1 overall. Then Eastern New Mexico in 3rd place. We're going to take our first break. We'll be right back. Opening tip-off is just moments away from the spec. This is Javelina basketball. Don't go away. Starters being introduced for both teams. I'll give you the starters for Eastern New Mexico first. The visitors' starting lineup looks like this. At the guard spots are Zamorie Cox, a freshman guard from Port Thomas, New Mexico, who stands at 5'7", and Chelsea Hunter, a 5'6" sophomore guard from Lubbock, Texas. On the wing is Talasha Oke, a 5'11" junior wing from Phoenix, Arizona, and the two forwards whose names you're going to hear called, or I should say the two forwards for Eastern New Mexico, Troyana Clay, a 6'1" senior forward from Tucson, Arizona, and Shelby Jones, a 6'1" senior forward from Clovis, New Mexico. You'll probably also hear the name Olivia Lewis called a lot. She's not in the starting lineup, but she leads the LSC in rebounds per game at 9.5. For the Javelinas, starting at the guard spots, a 5'10" junior guard from Corpus Christi, Texas, Danielle Metter, a 5'7" junior guard from Houston, Brene Thompson, and a 5'8" junior guard from Cypress Ranch, Texas, Rachel Taps. The two forwards for the Javelinas, Chloe Lane, a 5'11" senior guard from Kansas City, Missouri, and coming off a double-double, as I mentioned earlier, Brianna Solis, who stands at 5'9" tall, redshirt freshman from San Angelo, Texas. As I mentioned, Eastern New Mexico, coached by Josh Prock in his 6th season, a record of 70-80 overall. 2 seasons removed from leading this Eastern New Mexico squad to a berth in the NCAA tournament. And a 29 record, a 16-4 mark in conference that put them atop the LSC at season's end. Wade Scott in his 5th season, he is 27-81 overall. And he is looking for his first winning season as coach of the Javelinas. And there again are the starters for the Javelinas: Metter, Lane, Thompson, Taps, and Solis. And it will be Lane against Clay to tip this one off. And the tip, one back to Cox. On the wing is Hunter. Back to Cox, top of the key for Jones. Hunter tried to drive. Now Cox with it. Throws that right into the arms of Solis. Gets it back and then draws a foul on Zamora Cox. Metter into Lane, and Metter gets it right back. And Rachel Taps, who runs point on this offense more often than not. Thompson to Lane. Lane, who has really found her shooting stroke for this team over the course of the last few games, and that was never more evident than on Thursday. That one off the mark, rebounded by Jones. Hunter. Cox on the pick by Jones.
Wait for a screen, Chelsea.
Hunter back to Cox. Defended by Taps. Puts up a long two and makes it happen. So first points of this game to the Greyhounds.
Bill, watch the steps after the kick. Watch the steps after the kick.
Lane and Taps back and forth. Now Thompson. Thompson started off a little bit slow on Thursday, but had it when it mattered. And that foul goes on Jones. There's the second foul of the game. Both of them on the Greyhounds. 2 shots for Solis. Solis has stepped in and picked up the slack with Nicole Hutchins out of the lineup. Hutchins started the season as a mainstay in the starting lineup, but with her nursing her way back to health, Solis has stepped in, and it's going to be hard to unseat her from that starting spot once Hutchins gets back to 100%. Even at 2, 90 seconds in. Cox and Hunter working the perimeter. Clay, who averages 13 points per game, gives that one up. Layup won't go by Hunter, but she'll shoot 2 free throws. And that's the first foul on Solis.
Trey, from the top, look at bounce passes in there. Shelby, keep on.
Defense has been the bread and butter for Eastern New Mexico so far this season. I'll give you some of the numbers in a moment. As Hunter, who shoots the free throws at 67%, cans the first one. The Greyhounds are in the top half of the conference in scoring defense, field goal percentage defense, and 3-point field goal percentage defense.
Let's go. Sam,
2 shots by Hunter to get Eastern New Mexico back up by 2. Full court press. This is something West Texas did not employ on Thursday. Content to let the Javelinas have the backcourt off the hands of Solis into the arms of the Greyhounds.
Post up, Trey.
Oki inside. Layup good by Jones. Javelinas quickly across half court. Thompson misses the layup but draws the contact. And that's already 3 fouls on Eastern New Mexico, less than a quarter of the way through the first period.
Hey, Horns.
And Thompson's first free throw is good. Free throws had not been kind to Temuco through the first 11 games of this season, but as I mentioned, they were fantastic from this line against WT. 28 of 34, their best percentage of the season. And this is back to a 2-point game. Cox, who averages 2.6 assists per game, running point. Clay looking for her first bucket of the night. 13 to shoot. Ball knocked out of bounds by Thompson. Tried to save it, but it just wouldn't stay off of the blue line on the far side. 7:16 to go in the first quarter. And Josh Brock trying to get his players' attention, making them aware there are 11 seconds left to shoot.
Come on, T.
As Cox takes the inbound. Met in the lane by a pair of Javelinas after Clay misses the 3. Oki the rebound. Cutting right to the basket, missing the layup is Clay. Out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Greyhounds. So A&M-U with a second life offensively in this possession. Cox trying to find someone and eventually gets to Clay. The senior forward from Tucson. Cox, now Hunter. Metter backing off. Graham trying to work it around the perimeter. Cross court pass for the 3. Won't go right there for the board, and the putback is Clay.
No, Sam.
Taps, wants to go right to the basket and answers. And some back and forth action here in the opening quarter. First at 2 at the Spec today. Another offensive rebound. We get a jump ball, possession arrow favoring the blue and gold.
22.
And Sydney Clark will make her first appearance.
22.
And she replaces Chelsea Hunter. Clark, a junior from Las Vegas. Taps with Cox playing close defense. Temuco trying to tie her, take the lead in the early goings. Another foul on Cox, a silly foul. That's already 2 on her. And Coach Josh Brock, the first player to meet Cox on her way to the bench, let her know, hey, that's your second foul. Pass off the hands of Metter, who was not prepared for the ball to come her way. Clay taking it the other way. Pass right to Chloe Lane. One turnover deserves another. Lane, Metter. Rebound comes out. Lane trying to chase it down. Instead, Clark races to the basketball. And cutting right to the basket with the passes. Clay can't get it to go. We get a whistle and possession to the Greyhounds.
22. Hey, run four.
Possession arrow moved back to Tamuk. As subs entering and exiting, Hannah Aucoin in for the Javelinas. And Olivia Lewis making her first appearance for the Greyhounds and immediately gets to handle the basketball. Inside to Jones. Foul, no shot. And Danielle Metter comes out of that pile up with her hand around her nose or her mouth after drawing her first foul. Or I should say picking up her first foul. And quickly Christina Kanya off the bench. Metter started every game for the Javelinas this season, averaging just a shade under 8 points per game. Two shots for Jones. She's awfully good, 87% from the charity stripe. Misses the first one. Jones, another senior on this team. The forward hits 1 of 2. And the lead is 3. Taps to Thompson. That's wide open as Taps. Can't convert the tray. And why is he letting it bounce out of bounds? Were the Greyhounds. No sense in chasing down that rebound after a missed shot by your opponent.
Wildcat, T! Wildcat!
Jenna Milbrick, running point.
Get her the ball!
Eastern trying to build on an early 3-point lead. Asking for it inside is Lewis. Out of bounds to Eastern.
Go two.
And Milbrick will inbound it.
Go hard. Up top. Go, Liv, go. Look at her.
Eastern gets it in. Eastern looks like they're trying to work the ball into the low post. Pass to Lewis, trying to back down Aucoin. Out for a 3, but a travel will turn it over. And we'll take our first media timeout. This is Javelina basketball. Don't go away. Early in the first, halfway through the first quarter, 9-6 Eastern New Mexico. Aucoin pass to Kanya, batted out of bounds by Lewis. And with 23 to shoot, the Javelinas will get another opportunity on offense. Or I should say, we'll get to resume this offensive possession. Kanya to Taps. Back to Kanya. Thought about the 3, but had to give it up. Taps goes inside for a wild shot, but uses the window perfectly. Rachel Taps with her second bucket. She's got 4 points. Temuque within 1. Melbrecht to Clark. Lewis to Oki. Easton working around the perimeter now. Driving is Melbrecht. High layup over the outstretched reach of O'Coin and uses the window for a pair. Taps. Thompson back to Taps. Heading into Solis. And both teams using the backcourt to perfection. Solis now with 4 points. Stolen inside. Great play by Solis. Taps. Lost her balance. A blocking foul on Eastern will put her at the free throw line as the Greyhounds now over the limit. And that's on Sydney Clark. Taps' first free throw was no good. Taps had issues with the free throw line through the first 11 games, but that all changed on Thursday. She shot 9 of 12 from the charity stripe. A huge part of that Javelina victory was her 11 points. And she hits 1 of 2 right there. That evens us at 11. She's got 5. And they're going to get, I believe, Hannah O'Coin for a hold. O'Coin surprised by the call, but the referee was definitive in his ruling. Victoria Salinas enters for the first time. So O'Coin, Kanya, Salinas, Lane, and Taps are on the floor for Wade Scott. And we get a whistle and a foul against the Greyhounds.
This is unbelievable.
And that's on Melbrecht.
It's called a screen, Bill.
And Treyana Clay comes in
She didn't even move.
for Talasha Oki. 3:43 to go in the first quarter of a tie game. The Greyhounds off to an exciting start in Lone Star Conference action, and a travel by Chloe Lane will give it back to Eastern New Mexico. And that's the 10th turnover so far in this one. Sixth for the visitors, 4 for the home team.
Go away, Jenna!
Clark for Lewis. Clay feeding Clark. Melbrecht back to Clark. Steps back. Can't hit the 3. Rebounded by Lane. Taps quickly into the front court, and now we'll back off. We'll find Lane. Salinas for 3. Rebounded by Melbrecht. And a foul on the backcourt on Salinas. That'll be the 4th against the Javelinas. The good news there is, since Temuque had a foul to give, it doesn't result in free throws. Solis and Reve Payne enter the game, replacing O'Coin and Taps. And Payne has been the player who's picked up the slack whenever Taps is headed to the bench.
Hey, 45 for Trey, over here.
From the point guard perspective, I should say. Into Clay, trying to work on Salinas. Payne going for the steal. Payne has the ball. We get a whistle and a jump ball. We'll give the ball to the Javelinas.
Hey, they didn't swing. They haven't had a jump ball since the break. They had a break. They had a jump ball at the break. I'm just going. Ask him. Did you guys switch it?
And this is the 3rd jump ball that got switched the previous 2 times. Eastern won the tip, and then the Javelinas won. Javelinas got a jump ball to Eastern, and now jump ball to the Javelinas. So Coach Brock, a little uncertain about whether or not the possession arrow is being kept correctly. It sure seemed like it was, and the Javelinas turn it over, so it's all a moot point anyway. Clay to Clark. Back to Clay, and that goes right over the outstretched arms of Camariah Decker, who's in for the first time.
Hey, back.
Decker, Lane, or I should say Lane to Kanya. Inside to Solis. Lost the handle on the ball. Stolen by Lewis. Asking for it is Clay. Lewis takes herself right to the rack. Misses it. Rebound tipped out, but it's corralled by Clark. And now Eastern can settle down.
Run the floor, Shelby. Chest.
Melbrecht to Clark.
Chest.
Lewis to Clay. Working against Solis. Too strong on the layup. Rebound comes right to Lewis. And she gets the bucket and the foul. Those second chance opportunities have just killed the Javelina so far. That's the 7th offensive rebound for Eastern New Mexico. They have 11 rebounds. The Javelinas have 2 in this game. And 5 second chance points in this game for the Greyhounds. Thompson in for Tamuk. Shelby Jones in for ENMU. And that free throw makes it 14-11. Those were Lewis's first 3 points. Javelinas won the battle on the glass against WT 38-35. They're going to have to find a way to get back to fix issues as far as rebounding. Then a steal by Melbrecht. Payne trying to steal it back. Melbrecht gives it to Clay.
Chest, go. Chest. Use it.
Melbrecht passing it to where Clark was. And that'll turn it over to Tamuk.
Chin up. I'm saying 2. You should be saying it to everybody. Let's go.
And that is the 15th, make that 16th turnover of the game between these two teams. Each squad with 5 steals so far, so both coaches are going to be growing gray hair at that rate. Thompson gets it back to Solis. Can't get the bucket, does draw the foul. And that'll be 1 on Treyana Clay.
22. Push. 2.
And so here is Solis, 62% entering this game from the charity stripe. And she is 3 for 3 on free throws so far this afternoon. And Solis can't hit that one. Rebounded by Lewis. Clark. Under a minute to go here in quarter number 1 in a 2-point game. Clay for Lewis, tipped by Solis. Now Lewis trying to shoot over 2 players. Jones tips it right back to Lewis. Has it stripped and grabbed by Payne. Another steal for the Javelinas. Payne. Right for Lane. No good. Lane trying to chase it down. Her progress impeded by Melbrecht effectively. Ball out of bounds to Eastern New Mexico. Shot clock turned off at 29.4. So Eastern can hold for the last shot.
Post in the chest. Wait, Jenna, wait. Wait till I tell you.
Melbrecht just waiting as Payne playing close defense. Lewis. Or check that. Jones to Lewis. Back to Clark. Melbrecht. Corner for Clay. Shot no good. Rebound fought for. Tipped around. It comes to Thompson, who can't get the shot off. It wasn't good anyway. And the first quarter ends. We have a 2-point game with 10 minutes gone. Eastern New Mexico 14, the Javelinas 12. And 30 minutes of basketball left to play here at the Spec. We'll be right back on JavelinaAthletics.com. Javelina's and Greyhounds back, about to start the second quarter. The first quarter stats, a few things stick out prominently. A lot of turnovers, a lot of steals. 18 combined turnovers, 11 for the Greyhounds, 7 for the Javelinas. The Javelinas with 7 steals. The Greyhounds have snatched 5. Rebounding is the biggest discrepancy by far. 14 rebounds for Eastern New Mexico, including 8 on offense, just 2 for Temuco. Shooting about even, 33% from the floor for the visitors, 37.5 for the Hogs. Neither team has hit a 3. Clay guarded by Thompson, trying to take her to the rack. Shot no good. Rebound, another offensive rebound, this one by Jones. And a foul on the floor. Rebounding issues continue right off the bat in the second quarter. That is Rachel Tapp's first foul.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. That's all I ask. Chest, chest, chest.
Clay to Hunter.
Chest, Liv.
Melbreck. Lewis to Hunter. Hunter lost the handle, now drives.
Chelsea.
And a call against the Javelinas for an armbar. I think they're going to get Brene Thompson.
Chelsea.
No, check that. That's Taps quickly picking up 2 fouls. And Payne comes back in after a very quick breather. And Taps, there she goes. For a moment, it looked like they were going to try and play with 6.
Everybody, let's get in. Go chest, 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 chest. Hey.
Obviously, fresh shot clock. 2 fouls in 30 seconds to start the second quarter for the blue and gold. Melbreck pass stolen by Lane. Lane finally gets a handle on the ball. Thompson driving in for the jump shot, not enough on it. Boarded by Lewis. I think that'll be a foul on Thompson. And sure enough, that's Thompson's first in 47 seconds in this quarter. 3 fouls against the Javelinas. And Thompson's probably maybe a little bit too upset with herself after missing that jump shot. Tried a little too hard for the rebound, drew the foul.
Roll,
Melbreck gets Payne in the air. Floater, no good. Rebound on the floor.
Why aren't you under there?
Eastern trying to pass it from one player to the other like a scrum. We get a whistle. I think the Greyhounds got a timeout. Another offensive rebound for Eastern New Mexico at the 8:50 mark, at the risk of sounding like a broken record. Even this early, Javelinas have to find some way to fix this situation as far as rebounding. Because this is a close game right now, obviously. We're still looking for our first points of the second quarter, but a 17-2 discrepancy in rebounds can't stay that way if the Javelinas want to stay in this game. Eastern with 6 second chance points. The Javelinas still looking for their first offensive rebound. Eastern already has 10. And the Javelinas did such a good job on the glass on Thursday against a team that features Taisha Taylor, one of the best inside players in the conference. Held Taylor to only 8 rebounds, even though she did score 23 points. But Solis with 15. Temuco out-rebounded their visitors 38-35. Going to have to find a way to get back to doing the same things that worked so well as far as rebounding on Thursday. They break this huddle with Thompson, Metter, Lane, Solis, and Bridget Upton, who's in for the first time.
Visitor reset, 21, 32, 22, 23.
And Zamarie Cox to toss it in. Clay back to Cox, guarded closely by Metter. Lewis slings it to Hunter. They'll try a 3, short. Rebound knocked out of the hands of Lewis, and they call a foul. It looked like a pretty clean strip. But as it is, Temuco already at 5 fouls in the quarter. All right, check that. I could have sworn that was their 5th foul. It's only their 4th. It is Metter's 2nd. That much is true. Cox tossing it out, tipped by Lane, who then snags her own deflection. Thompson driving in. Upton to Solis, being doubled on the inside. And Lane gets it back halfway through the shot clock. Chloe Lane coming off a 23-point night. Upton lost the handle. It's stolen by Eastern. Ahead of the pack is Cox. Lost the handle, but makes the layup. And both teams, I guarantee you, being too careless with the basketball for their coach's liking. Thompson, their team trailing by 4, the largest separation these teams have had today. Thompson for the layup, no good. Solis can't get it, but it's tipped towards the end line, but grabbed by Hunter.
Stay.
Cox, Lewis, now Hunter. Chelsea Hunter with 3 points. Misses that one. Kanya bring it into the front court. One of the seniors on this team gives it to Thompson. Dishing underneath. Back to Upton. Shot clock at 18. Lane will try the 3 and connect. The first 3 by either squad today. It's a 1-point game. Cox to Clay. Chelsea Hunter weighing her options. Back to Clay, guarded by Kanya. Asking for it inside. Getting it is Lewis. Upton trying to take it away, and she does. Upton lost the handle. Now finally regains her dribble.
You're wide open.
Renee Thompson, 2 points to her credit so far in this one. A near travel by Upton. Thompson now with it for the drive. The layup too strong. Rebound ripped away by Jones. Eastern continuing to dominate on the boards. Cox wide open. Hunter responds to the 3. Lane to Kanya. Lane gets it back, but she really wanted to shoot the 3 instead. Drives, can't use the glass. Cox ahead to Hunter. Almost lost her balance, but keeps her feet. Lewis cans the jump shot. And an unhappy Wade Scott calls the timeout. 5 straight points for Eastern New Mexico at the 5:36 mark. In the second quarter, we have a 6-point game. We'll be right back. This is JavelinaAthletics.com's coverage of Temuco women's basketball. Javelina is trying to cut into a 6-point deficit as Lane to Payne on the inbounds. And now back to Chloe Lane. In the corner, Thompson with a big 3. Second 3 for Temuco. And the deficit cut in half. Hunter. Decker shooting over Lane. Nothing but net on that shot. So both teams exchanging baskets. Thompson out to Lane, trying to answer, can't do it. Brianna Solis with the rebound and draws the foul. An offensive rebound for Tamook, and it earns them an opportunity at the free throw line. And that'll be on Kamira Decker. And third trip to the free throw line today for Solis. And that's her second miss from the charity stripe today. Trying to bring her team within 4, and she does her job.
Hey, arms down. Let him get set, Sam. Let him get set, Sam.
Three from Oki, and she hits it. And Western New Mexico, I should say Eastern New Mexico, look like they're starting to find the range from a shooting standpoint right now. Their lead is up to 7. That's the largest lead of the game for either team. More than halfway through the second quarter. Kanya. Thompson pulls up. Jump shot just didn't want to go. And 2 Eastern players there just towering over Brianna Solis. Not much chance for her to get the rebound. And that speaks to why Eastern's having so much success on the board so far. Decker backs down lane, out of bounds to the Greyhounds. Nice Eastern team right now, just with too many big, strong, tall players on the inside for the Javelinas. Ball tipped by Lane. It comes right to Oki, and she capitalizes. And Eastern New Mexico is starting to settle in as their lead gets pushed to 9. Thompson to Kanya. Another steal for the Greyhounds. Cox ahead on the fast break to Clay, being guarded by Payne. Oki will try another open 3. That one won't go. Rebound, though, taken by Decker for the layup and the foul. Thompson with 2 fouls. Free throw, no good. Payne can't get the rebound. She's called for a foul.
Hey, every rebound, Liv, you get. Every rebound you get. I'm not saying.
2 fouls on Thompson in an 11-point game. With the score at 30-19. Javelinas trying to get something going on offense. They've been outscored in this quarter 16-7. Salinas to Payne to Kanya. Back to Reve Payne. And then a pass to seemingly no one in particular. Payne might have been a little bit out of control on that drive. Oh, actually make that possession still to the Javelinas. 8 to shoot. Payne trying to get it, thinking about getting inside the Solis. Now out to Kanya. A long 3. That's way off. Shot clock violation, possession to the visiting squad. And Eastern simply has taken over this game in the second quarter, shooting better than 50% from the field at 7-13. They've hit 2 of 4 threes, 11 rebounds to 2. And adding to the total of bench points is Olivia Lewis. 8 points off the bench for the Greyhounds in this quarter. Nothing from that category for Tamook. And that's with Kanya, Salinas, Payne on the floor. 3 players off of Wade Scott's bench. Another turnover gives it to Eastern New Mexico. 10th turnover for Temuque in this game. Passed back out by Lewis. Hunter. In and out, bordered by Lane. Kanya asking for it ahead of the pack, but Lane elected to take it up herself. Heading right into the lane, draws the foul, misses the layup. That'll be 2 on Shelby Jones. That's just the 3rd foul in this quarter for Josh Brock's team.
Coming in for the injured player? Was she already there? Come on in.
The visitor 35 for 32, 1 for 23.
And this has been a 16-4 run over the last 5 minutes for Eastern New Mexico to build what was a 1-point edge into a 13-point margin. Lane's first free throw, I think, hit every part of the rim, but also found the twine. And Lane hits them both. She's got 5 points today. Temuque within 11. I think the goal for the Javelina should be trying to get this down to around 7 before the clubs head to the locker room.
Come harder, Liv.
Decker wants it inside. Instead, Clark finds Melbrecht, and a travel gives it to Temuque. And the Eastern head coach, Josh Brock, with an exasperated look just to my right for what seems like the umpteenth time this game, which is odd for a coach's team is winning by 11. But these coaches, to state the obvious, they look for perfection. Every mistake gets under their skin. Lane for 3, no good. Boxing out is Decker, and Lewis capitalizes with the rebound. Melbrecht to Oki. Lewis inside to Decker. Melbrecht. 3 for Lewis, no good. Rebound comes right to Oki. Shot clock resets with 1:10, and a 3 is good. Kalacia Oki with 8 points so far today. Lead is up to 14. Lane to Kanya. 17 to shoot. We're down to 48 seconds to play in the half. Payne for 3. Air ball. Rebound comes to Solis, who can't make the bucket but does draw contact. We'll head to the free throw line. And that foul goes against Oki. That's 2 on her. And Lydia Giral preparing to make her first appearance for Temuque. And Laura Rowe about to enter for Eastern New Mexico. 2 shots for Solis. First one, not strong enough off the front of the rim. Rowe in for Oki. As Giral enters for Temuque. And Solis, 1 of 2, 6 points for her.
Go move, get there, Mark.
And about a 12-second differential between game clock and shot clock. So each team should have 1 more possession.
Get up!
Rowe will try the 3. No good. Rebound. Payne came away with the ball out of the scrum, and she drew a foul. So 2 free throws coming up. That's the first foul on Lewis. 22.8 on the game clock. Here is Payne, an 80% foul shooter, trying to get on the score sheet. First one in and out. Payne had 3 points on Thursday. Sophomore from Pearland, Texas, in her first year as a Javelina. And 1 of 2 for her. So Eastern can hold for the last shot. Trying to build on a 12-point lead heading into the locker room.
You're good, Jenna. You're good, Jenna. You got no clock. Go.
Melbrecht with 7 to play in the half. Left for Rowe. Rowe at the free throw line. Time running out, and unable to get a shot off are the Greyhounds. And a very sheepish look on the face of Olivia Lewis. Just did not seem like Rowe and Lewis were aware of the game clock. But as it is, a 12-point lead for Eastern New Mexico as both teams head to the locker room. We'll go over everything that happened over the course of these first 20 minutes when we come back during halftime. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with all the halftime stats right here on the Javelina Sports Network. This is Tamook Women's Basketball.
No, not that one. Not that one. No more.
Javelina is trailing at halftime by a score of 35-23. And Eastern New Mexico taking that 12-point lead on the strength mostly of a 21-11 second quarter. Eastern shot 50% from the floor in the second quarter, or holding the Javelinas to just 2 of 11. And rebounds, again, not to beat a dead horse, really the big reason why the Javelinas have fallen behind by 12. This game was 14-12 at the end of one. But Eastern with a 13-5 advantage. And 7 second chance points helped them push this edge out to 12. Lead overall 27-7 in the rebounding department. 14 offensive rebounds for the Greyhounds, just 2 for the Javelinas. They've led by, and the Greyhounds have led by as many as 14. The Javelinas have not had a lead at any point in time in this game. What kept the Javelinas in the game, or what has kept this game as close as it is turnover margin for the most part. Eastern's turned it over 15 times so far, compared to 10 points for the Javelinas. 10 Javelina turnovers. Temuka has grabbed 10 steals already in this game, while Eastern has picked up 7. So both coaches with certainly multiple things to be unhappy about as these teams retreat to the halftime locker room. And the first quarter, as I mentioned, the score is 14-12 after 1. This game was pretty evenly matched, or at least it looked that way through 10 minutes. Shooting percentages were not very different, 33% for the Greyhounds, 37% for the Javelinas. Turnovers, 11 for the visitors, 7 for the home team. And neither team had hit a three-pointer. They were combined 0 for 6. And fouls were about even, 7 for the Greyhounds, 5 for the Javelinas. But Eastern really took over that second quarter at one point, as I mentioned, put together a 16-4 run over the course of 5 minutes from about the 7-minute mark to the 2-minute mark that pushed the lead out to where it got as large as 15. And now Eastern ahead by 12. Leading scorers through 10 minutes. The Greyhounds led by Oki, who has 8, and Olivia Lewis with 7. And Shelby Jones with a big game as on the glass, 6 rebounds to go along with 3 points for the senior forward. For the Javelinas, Brianna Solis with 7. Then they have 3 players with 5 points, Lane Thompson and Rachel Taps. But this team that rotates so many players on and off the floor is going to need more production from the depth that they have on this squad. With only 5 players on the score sheet, Temuka going to be looking for more diverse production in the second half. Eastern has 4 players who have scored at least once, who have at least one made basket from the floor through 20 minutes. While the Javelinas with just 5. And they only have 1 player who's hit more than 1 basket from the floor. That's Taps for Solis. 5 of her 7 points have come from the free throw line. And also no player for Temuka has more than 2 rebounds. Lane and Solis each have 2. And got to give credit to Eastern. Their players have just been bigger and stronger and taller than the Javelinas. Temuka has looked certainly a little bit undersized tonight. And the player who brings the most size to this team, Nicole Hutchinson, as I mentioned, is not playing today. She's been out of the lineup the last few games. And Brianna Solis, who's taken her place and been productive in her stead, just not tall enough to this point at 5'9" to compete with the likes of Shelby Jones or Kamira Decker or Olivia Lewis or Triana Clay, all of whom are over 6 feet.
I'm Broncos, so.
And the Javelinas, who did such a great job on the inside against West Texas, both scoring and rebounding, desperately in need of a way to fix that problem and find a way to get back in this basketball game, trailing by 12 through 2 quarters. Now, again, this is not the only basketball game here at the Spec today. Once the women finish up, the men will play Eastern New Mexico, and that Greyhound squad comes into today's game at 3-2 in the LSC against the Javelina team that just picked up its first LSC win against West Texas on Thursday. And Eastern New Mexico comes into that game having lost 2 in a row, while the Javelinas coming off of a huge win their last time out. So the possibility, we all expect a really excellent basketball game in the second half of this doubleheader as Johnny still tries to get his squad into a rhythm, tries to get them rolling this season. They're 5-7 overall and 1-3 in the conference. An opportunity for Estelle and his men's squad to start a run in the second as we near the midway point in the Lone Star Conference schedule. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Second half is just moments away here from the Spec. This is Javelina basketball. Both teams back on the floors. The second half about to start in just a couple of minutes here. Javelina's trailing 35-23 in the front end of a Temuque, Eastern New Mexico doubleheader at the Spec this afternoon. As part of Welcome Back Students Day here at the Spec, as classes resume for students and student athletes alike on Monday. And the Javelinas trying to pick up a victory to welcome back the student body to campus on this Saturday afternoon. And Temuque trying to find a way to erase the 12-point deficit, trying to keep the momentum going off of their upset victory on Thursday over the second-ranked team in the nation. Their work, of course, cut out for them here in the second half. And we'll see what halftime adjustments the Javelinas made over the course of the halftime period. And both squads getting final instructions from their head coach as we are just about to begin quarter number 3 here at the Spec. Temuque in that first half shooting 26.3%, while Eastern at 42.4% through the first half. Eastern hit 3 of 9 from 3, Temuque 2 of 10. The Javelinas got to the free throw line much more often. They were 11 of 16. Eastern just 4 of 6. As far as fouls are concerned, for Eastern, Oki, Cox, Jones, and Decker each have 2. Temuque has Metter, Thompson, and Taps, who are all playing with 2 fouls in the starting 5. For both teams' returns for Eastern New Mexico, that means Oki, Cox, Clay, Hunter, and Jones. For Temuque, that's Metter, Lane, Thompson, Taps, and Solis. Lane into Rachel Taps. Taps 5 points to go along with 1 assist in the first half. Thompson's layup too strong and rebounded by Clay. Zamri Cox to Oki, near side Hunter. Hunter swings it for Jones. Cox driving on Taps, wide open underneath, and converting is Troyana Cox. That makes 4 points for Eastern New Mexico's leading scorer this season. Taps, Lane for Metter. Out for Taps, she'll try a 3, good. Taps with 8 points thus far. And that is a new team high for the Javelinas. Cox trying to answer. Can't do it. Thompson snags the board. Javelinas trying to get back within single digits. Taps looking inside to Solis. Backing down Jones. Tries to turn around, has to give it back out to Thompson. 9 to shoot. Taps to Thompson. Backed off. Did the defender. 3-pointer miss. Rebounded by Metter. Pass into a crowd of gray jerseys is stolen. Oki draws the foul and misses the layup. That will be the 3rd on Rachel Taps. Taps did all she could to draw the charge there, but unable to do so. Oki's first free throw rattles home. That foul on Taps was the first called here in the second half. And Oki is 2 for 2, 10 points for her, the first player to reach that number. Lane for Metter, trying to make it a 10-point game, in and out Taps tips the rebound, but only to Oki.
Hey, check.
Trayana Clay, left for Oki. Over Metter. No good. Rebound taken by Eastern once again. And a foul is called. That will be Chloe Lane's first foul. Here is Shelby Jones, the 87% foul shooter. Six rebounds so far today for Jones, who converts the first of two. Senior from Clovis, New Mexico. And Jones hits them both. 5 points for her.
Stop it. Stay right there, Chelsea. They're coming right to you.
Eastern New Mexico with a 15-point lead, largest of the day. Javelinas have not led at any point in time today.
Back up. Good.
Metter out of the corner, now for Thompson, driving past Oki, layup good.
Open.
Needing to string together some stops here to try and get a run going. Clay on a pick by Oki, halfway through the shot clock. Cox gets her defender in the air. Hunter. Back to Cox, tries a three. And Solis brings it down. Taps, thinking about going inside. Does not get the basket. Does draw the foul. Zamri Cox, who picked up two quick ones in the second quarter, grabs her third foul here. That's the first against the Greyhounds. And Melbrecht prepares to check in. Here is Taps at the free throw line. Taps missing the first two. Her free throw percentage, even with shooting 9 of 12 on Thursday, still at 48% for the season. Second of two in a 13-point game. And she hits that one. So she's hit 1 of 2. Both times she's been to the foul line. And she has 9 on the day. Here's Melbrook, who played 11 minutes in the first half. 2 points, a couple of steals to her credit. Clay. Hunter thought about it. Clay into Jones, knocked away by Solis. Ball fought for. Jump ball, and the possession arrow favoring Eastern New Mexico after Tamuk started the half with possession. Oki, with just 4 seconds on the shot clock, will inbound it. Melbrecht. Driving left on Taps, puts up a wild shot that goes nowhere. It came to Clay. Her coach, Kroc, was yelling at her to shoot it as soon as she got the basketball, and she didn't listen.
Sorry about that.
Tamuk up 12. Metter to Taps. Driving inside and a good call, travel. Neither team, at least to this point, credited with a single point in the paint. Into Jones, over Solis. Cannot grab her own rebound, but does get called for her third foul. Each team with 2 so far in the third quarter. And for Shelby Jones, 3 fouls on her, brings her quickly to the bench. And Olivia Lewis comes in. And certainly not a bad player to bring off the bench. Lewis with 7 points in 14 minutes, along with 5 rebounds so far in this game. Lane swings it to Thompson in the corner. Metter to Thompson. She'll put up a 3. In and out. Rebounded by Oki. Melbrecht. Melbrecht with a pretty one-handed layup. Taps for Thompson. Driving into a crowded, painted area. Lane now drives in, using the window beautifully. 2 points for Tamook. Timeout, Wade Scott. 7 points for Chloe Lane. That timeout comes just before the scheduled media timeout. And that makes it a 12-point game. Lane, who came to Tamook with a single year of eligibility left, a senior transfer to this squad, who arrived on campus fresh from Alcorn State, a native of Kansas City, Missouri. And it seemed to take her a little bit of time to get comfortable on the floor here in the blue and gold. She has been producing ever since, double figures in 3 of her last 4 games, including 18 against St. Mary's on 10 days ago, 23, as I mentioned, against West Texas. She's been in double figures 6 times this season. And today she has 7, 3 away from reaching that mark again. And Eastern getting ready to invent it, where the referee's telling the squad to hustle off the bench. They want to get action restarted. Melbrecht into the front court for Hunter. Lewis. Back to Jenna Melbrecht. Coming up top to take it is Oki. 2 Javelinas on her. Into the corner for Hunter. Asking for it inside. Now getting it along the baseline is Clay. Oki with 6 to shoot. Cross court for Lewis. Backing down Thompson, using the glass for 2 points. 9 points for Olivia Lewis, and Eastern New Mexico is really showing why they're right now in 3rd place in the LSC, why they're 9-4 and 4-1 in conference, with that 1 loss coming against the only undefeated team left in conference play. A lot of height. They know how to score from close to the basket. Good defense as well. Out of bounds off Lewis to Tamook. And Sydney Clark comes in. And that'll take us to the media timeout at the 4:12 mark. 45-31 our score. Be right back. This is the Javelina Sports Network. Taps to inbound this from underneath her own basket. Thompson. Thompson the layup over Oki for 2 points. And Wade Scott asking for a stop. His team trailing by 12. Still enough time for the Javelinas to mount a comeback, but plenty of work left to do. Melbrecht driving in off the iron, gets a friendly bounce.
Shanna, come up! Bump over, Sid!
And Eastern has just found holes in the Javelina defense. Lanes to the basket, opportunities inside. And again, a lot of it has to do with the height this team has. A much longer team than the Javelinas. So Lees has underneath the turnaround, hook shot rolls around and goes through. So Lees now with 8 points. Tamook back within 12. They've not been able to get it down to single digits here in the second half, and that continues. Another basket for Melbourne. She's got 6. Metter pass for Solis, stolen by Lewis. Oki driving in on a coin shot over her, no good. A foul is called that will put Talasha Oki at the line. Oki has hit all 8 of her attempts from the charity stripe this season. And there's her first miss. Chloe Lane back in, replacing Brianna Solis. Action pretty even so far in the third quarter. 14-12 Eastern with a couple more points than the Javelinas. 55.6% they are shooting from the field. Temuca's at an even 50%. Each team with 4 rebounds. 3 turnovers for Temuca, 1 for Eastern. Both free throws are missed. And here comes Taps. Metter to Lane. Metter to Thompson now. Pass to Aucoin, who was moving out of Thompson's way as Thompson was passing her the ball. The turnover gives the ball to Eastern. Clark goes out. Decker comes in. Or check that. It's Oki who will take a rest. Oki goes to the bench with a game-high 10 points. Here is Clay. Clark to Decker. Defended by Aucoin. Back to Clark. Can't hit that one. Lane bringing it up. And Lane nothing but net on that shot. And Lane, one of 4 Javelinas with 9 points. 4 players have 9 points for Temuca. Reve Payne has 1. No one else has scored even a single point. And another floater. Jenna Melbrecht is in a groove right now. 6 points in the last few minutes for her. And Temuca just unable to get a stop to give them a chance to make this a 9 or a 10-point game. Thompson can't put that one in. And Clark races ahead. 3 Javelinas back and no teammates, so she'll have to slow that down, and does. Albrecht content to evaluate her options. Lewis is asking her to swing it left for Clay, and she finally gets it to Clay, who moves right. Out of the corner comes Clark. 5 to shoot. Melbrecht, left. Lewis lost the hand on the ball, and a shot clock violation. So with 1:01 to go before we hit the fourth quarter, Temuca probably looking for a 2 for 1. Two. Lane for Metter. Javelina's trying to find opportunities on the perimeter. Lane can't get that one to go. Rebound comes to Thompson. So Temuca with an offensive rebound into Aucoin, trying to shoot over Decker. That shot never had a chance.
Go get it, Jenna. Give it to Jenna. Come on.
Clay wide open, connects. And now Temuca, on all likelihood, are going to hold for the final shot of the quarter. Metter in the lane, draws the foul, can't get the bucket. 2 shots coming for her. And Decker picks up her third. That's 3 on Eastern, although that's pretty much a moot point that will be erased as far as a team standpoint, obviously, in less than 12 seconds.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Hey, left.
And Taps.
Left. Tomorrow's going to set it.
First free throw gives her 10 points. That's consecutive games in double figures for Rachel Taps.
Jenna, just go though. With the clock and everything, just go.
And Taps hits them both. These last 3 games, she's scored at least 10 points. 14, 11, now 11. 3 is good. Clay out of the corner adds to her total. And 3 more points have her at an even 10. So 10 minutes to play in this one, a 57-39 lead for Eastern New Mexico. This is Javelina basketball. We'll be right back. Eastern New Mexico taking an 18-point lead into the final quarter. Looking to erase the memory of a Thursday loss against Angelo State. The Javelinas obviously came in today looking to build on the momentum from Thursday's victory over WT and not been able to do so. And credit to Eastern New Mexico. They have just really played an excellent game. They've been sound fundamentally. They've obviously won the game on the glass, and a lot of credit. You don't hear people talk a lot about boxing out because it's such a, people might think it's such a boring, cliched thing, as Lane's long range 2 is no good, rebounded by Decker, but Eastern has done a fantastic job boxing out, getting position to get those rebounds. It hasn't just been lucky bounces or the ball just happened to hit in the right spot. As the 3 by Decker, assisted by Melbrick, is no good. No, they've been in position. They've boxed out. They've kept the Javelinas away from those loose balls and missed shots. Thompson for a coin. Can't hit the jump shot.
Look up! Hey, get him!
Melbrick with 8 points, 6 of them coming in that third quarter. 3 doesn't go. And Thompson will carry it across. Brene Thompson with 9 points. Rachel Taps, only two player in double figures with 11. Only 5 Javelina players are actually on the score sheet tonight. And Taps can't make the basket, but does draw the foul.
Chelsea, I'm going to talk to you. You're okay. I'll talk to you.
And that's 1 on Chelsea Hunter.
Hey, Larry. Can I talk to you real quick? On the drive. Yes, on the drive. I think that's why she got the advantage. She got. We fouled him in the end, but first she got the advantage with that.
And first free throw by Taps is up and good as subs come in. Solis for Tanuk, Zamri Cox for Eastern New Mexico, and a very measured discussion between the head coach for Eastern, Josh Prock, and the official. Didn't yell at the official or tell him he was not doing his job. Well, it's a simple discussion. Hey, watch out for the arm bar as she's driving the lane to try and give herself some room. And the official said, okay, I'll keep my eye out for it. And I can't imagine officials don't respond better to a simple request or a suggestion than to a coach just yelling at them in words not fit for print. Inside, a foul before the shot. I believe this will be on Solis, trying to defend Olivia Lewis. 2 on Solis. Javelinas will be back in action on Thursday. They will play Western New Mexico on the road in Silver City. Decker misses it, gets it back, hits the shot, draws the foul. As I said, that'll be a 6:30 start time as Dubuque plays Western New Mexico. And this is not the same Western New Mexico that has been a doormat in this league for years. This Western team, to this point in the season, 2-3 in conference, 6-6 overall. As Decker completes the three-point play, so the Javelinas will certainly not have a guaranteed victory when they walk into Silver City on Thursday evening. Metter for our coin. Thompson misses that one.
Hey, Zam! Chest!
And Eastern has built a 20-point lead. Floater by Melbrick, no good. Taps for Metter. Thompson. Thompson with the fall away connects. Thompson has 11 points in this game. And for her, this is her third consecutive game in double figures, the sixth time in her last 7 contests she's reached at least 10 points with 11 on the afternoon. In for Lewis, trying to back down, gets the bucket.
Liv, are you okay? You need one?
And Lewis with 11 points. 4 Eastern New Mexico players have at least 10. Thompson for Taps. Way long with that 3. Out of bounds off of Solis.
Visitor 23.
And Chelsea Hunter returns for Jenna Melbrick.
Hey, guard!
Lane comes in for our coin.
Hey,
Coin had not played prior to Thursday. She's played in consecutive games now. 11 minutes today. Cox for Clay, driving right past Solis for the layup. 12 points for her. She's basically right at her average, 12.9 points per game. Taps for Lane to Thompson. And Taps with a travel. Good defense by Oki. Forced her into the turnover.
Sam! Walk it up. Watch the clock. You got to get it fast. Okay, open.
Eastern New Mexico in the first half of this game turned the ball over 15 times. They've turned it over only twice here in the second half. Oki can't hit that one. She's been on the mark for the most part from beyond the arc, but couldn't get that one to fall. Taps for Thompson. Thompson heads inside for the layup. 13 for the junior from Houston. And Thompson has been a bright spot for this team, even when they've struggled this season. And the great thing that has to get Wade Scott and his staff excited about her is that they still have one more year with Renee Thompson in blue and gold. Layup good by Hunter in a timeout. The thing about Angelica Wilson last season, she was an excellent player. Racked up a handful of double-doubles. Actually had probably her best performance last season right here against these Greyhounds in the season finale. Javelinas won that game to close out their season 69-62 in overtime. And Angelica Wilson was a big reason why 15 points, 17 rebounds. But the only thing was, you knew that unfortunately that was Angelica Wilson's senior season, as she was doing so many positive things for this team. For Renee Thompson, Scott and company knows we have one more year with this player who has cemented herself as one of the best scorers in the LSC. And people are starting to take notice of the junior from Houston, especially as she puts up performances like she has today and in her team's last 2 games. .536 to go. Eastern New Mexico with a 66-44 lead. Again, this is the first half of a doubleheader. The Temuque men will play the ENMU men about 25 minutes after this game finishes. And that one looks to be a pretty evenly matched contest. Taps wants to go inside out to Thompson. Thompson with her 15th shot of the day, and she has 15 points to go with it. And whistle, and we get a foul. Danielle Metter with her third. (15) for Thompson, 12 for Rachel Taps for the Javelinas. And those 15 for Thompson are a game high. Hunter out of the corner. Shot no good, rebounded by Metter. Solis trying to go up, out, Metter open and takes advantage. And Metter with her first points of the afternoon. For Temuque, that's their fourth made three. They're now 4 of 18. Neither team has shot well from 3. 5 of 19 for Eastern New Mexico. And possession to the Greyhounds. Emery Cox trying to find a teammate, finally does. And Hunter gives it up to Clay. Back to Cox, inside Decker. Clay ends up with it for 3. Good. 15 points for her. And this Eastern team, as the shot by Thompson's no good, she'll shoot 2 free throws. This, for the Javelinas, is their 7th home game of the season. They've played ranked teams like Black Hills State and WT. They've also played St. Mary's and Texas A&M International, and of course West Texas and Texas Women's, who they've beaten their last 2 games. And West Texas clearly did not play their best game last night, did not shoot nearly as well from 3 as they usually do. However, this Eastern team so far has been the most impressive team, I think, that has come into the spec this season.
Hey, press!
Renee Thompson's
Get to the middle.
game high total is up to 17.
Watch the trap.
She's got 4 minutes to get 3 more points to try and make it 3 consecutive contests with at least 20, which would be certainly nothing to sneeze at, regardless of how well Eastern has played today. Oki with 4 to shoot. Looks like she's just going to settle for the 3. Now, just trying to get a pass off. Throws up a wild shot. Shot clock violation. That's, if memory serves, that's at least the 3rd shot clock violation for Eastern New Mexico today. And Olivia Lewis in for Talacia Oki. And if that's the end of the line for her today with 3:38 to go, she's had a pretty good day. 10 points to go with 5 rebounds and a pair of steals. Thompson. I wonder if she knows she has 17 points. Thompson goes down, is still down on the court. Shot no good.
L32, RD21.
And quickly the training staff out to tend to Brene Thompson.
Come here, Black. Come here, Black.
And Thompson kind of put in an awkward position when she tried to drive and ran into one of Eastern's defenders. She's on her feet, walking off under her own power, and Hervé Payne will check in for Brene Thompson.
Hey, look for the skip if we have to throw it in. We not have it off the initial. Press.
So 3:24 to play in the 4th quarter. Eastern had 69 to 51. And if you're wondering what their season high in points is, it's 104. They scored those. They scored that against Northern New Mexico a little more than a month ago.
Back to her. Stay the middle, Liv. Middle, Liv.
Hunter to the hoop and draws a foul called on Chloe Lane. Or check that they're going to actually call it on Solis. All for bookkeeping purposes at this point. And Hunter misses the first one. Eastern 9 of 14 on free throws today. Hunter at 67%. And this is her second trip to the free throw line. And she is 3 of 4. Metter can't get the layup to go. Ball fought for near the baseline. So leads the rebound. Lane for 3. That one won't cooperate. And Decker gets possession back to Eastern New Mexico. Ahead to Hunter. And Eastern not content simply to run the shot clock out and just take whatever shot they can get. They're trying to score. Clay, to my point, with another 3. 18 for her. That's now a game high. Clay 7 of 14. She's 4 of 6 from three-point land. And she has impressed today at Travelon Chloe Lane. And Lane definitely took a couple of extra steps. 73-51 our score. First time the Greyhounds have led by more than 20. Hunter on the near side. As subs preparing to enter for both teams, more than one. Cox. This is that one, so leads to Payne.
We're just in 2 defense. All right, hey, y'all hear me? We're just in 2 defense. Right? We're in 2 defense.
Taps to Payne. Metter will try another 3. That one won't go. So Lees tips the rebound to herself. Lane thought about a 3. Now Metter. Layup rolls through. A friendly roll for Danielle Metter. And that's 5 for Danielle Metter. And Josh Prock wants a timeout with 1:28 to go. I think he just wanted to call a timeout to try and get his subs in the game. Brianna Rodriguez comes in, as does Laura Rowe. Jeracia Smith enters the game as well.
12, 21, 34, 30. 3, 21, 12.
Shot by Brianna Rodriguez is no good. Lydia Giral and Bridget Upton in for Tamuk. Reve Payne with a 3 in and out.
J12, RD32.
Smith, now Cox will bring it up. The Greyhounds are going to go to 10-4 as a 3 is good from Laura Rowe. 10-4 overall, 5-1 in the LSC. Tamuk will fall to 5-8, and their record in LSC play will stand at 2-4. And again, more basketball coming up. The men's squads from these two schools set to square off.
This one down here was J3.
Javelina's looking for their second consecutive win, their second consecutive Lone Star Conference win, trying to get back into the thick of the race for the conference tournament. Lewis. Cox. Smith. Can't make the jumper. Metter on what's probably the game's last real possession. Upton has that one swatted away. Loose ball comes to Smith. And just running it out is Zamri Cox. The cap off a 23-point win for Eastern New Mexico on the road. They shake off the loss against Angelo. They get a win in Kingsville today. Their 10th of the season. And the Javelinas again back in action on Thursday on the road in Silver City, New Mexico against the Western New Mexico Mustangs. That game with a 6 p.m. start time. And that's when the Javelinas will battle the Mustangs. That will be another LSC doubleheader. And for Eastern New Mexico, just simply a game where they really played well, shooting 46%, held to move to 33% from the floor. They were 8 of 24 from 3. The Javelinas were just 4 of 21. And of course, the discrepancy on the glass was the biggest factor. 43 rebounds for Eastern New Mexico, 24 for the Javelinas. And it really just boiled down to size today. Eastern had too many players that were just much taller than the student athletes the Javelinas had on the inside. And Eastern was able to use that to put up 18 second chance points today. And also credit to them for cleaning up the turnover issues. I mentioned 15 in the first half, just 3 giveaways in the second half. A lot of credit to the Greyhounds. They earned this win. 76-53 is our final score. We'll take a break, and we'll be back about 20 minutes away from men's basketball here at the Spec. Don't go anywhere. This is the Javelina Sports Network.